As-salamu Aleikum. Hope you're all doing well, inshallah. It is Friday morning. I think it is about maybe 8 a.m. Oh, it just turned 8 exactly. Finished our Surah Al-Kahf recitation session with sisters, and subhanAllah, just listening to everyone's voices, and everyone's voices are always so touching, mashallah. So we did that, and we've been going through the story of Musa alayhi salam, which I think I mentioned a few weeks ago. We look at one verse each week when we do the Surah Al-Kahf recitation. And so since the story of Musa alayhi salam goes over many verses, we are still in that story basically, and he just met Al-Khidr, this knowledgeable person that he is going to accompany and learn lessons from, inshallah. And so I'll try to share some of those lessons as we go through them, inshallah, in these videos. One of the reminders is that there were so many verses that tell us about his journey to meet Al-Khidr. He had a servant with him helping him on the journey. They both missed the location that they were supposed to meet this man at, and they continued on their journey, and then they realized they missed it and they had to retrace their steps and get back to the location to meet that person. And subhanAllah, it's just like our daily lives, you know, things don't always go as planned, things don't always work out. Sometimes you have to retrace your steps, you have to work backwards, sometimes you don't hit your goal, and then, you know, you just come back and try again, inshallah. So there's so many lessons that we can get from even just the journey of them going to search for this person. So that's just a reminder. I have an acai bowl over here that you probably saw me make. It's basically a blend of, I did orange juice because I didn't have apple juice, but usually I do apple juice. I just realized the mic was not plugged in, and so I just plugged it in. I always get comments on my voice, mic, and everything, so just to address those comments, I get a lot of comments saying that my voice is too low and I need to get a mic. So first of all, yes, my voice is too low. Second of all, I do have a mic, and I don't know what to do because I cannot project my voice more than I already do. I don't know, and like when I go to edit the videos, I always have to raise the voice like by like 6 times, 7 times, like times 6 times 7 to make it even higher. So what you are hearing right now is already like multiples higher than what it originally is. I don't know what to do about that. If you have any recommendations, I already have a mic. I already like cancel out the noise in the background. I already amplify my voice multiples in multiples. And yeah, I don't know what to do. I can't hear myself, right? So when I talk, I feel like I'm talking normal. I cannot project anymore. And I know even going through school and university and so on, the teacher or the professor would always tell me, you need to raise your voice, and I could never do it. The loudest that I can get my voice to be, even if I'm presenting or anything like back in university and school, it was never satisfactory enough for the professor or teacher or people in class. I just don't have a loud voice, I guess. To me it sounds normal, but I guess it's not that loud. So anyways, if you have any tips. But anyways, I was saying that I have this acai bowl I just made, and it's basically I did orange juice. I usually do apple juice, but I did orange juice, a little bit of orange juice just to get it to blend, and then acai, strawberries and blueberries, and that's my favorite mixture, those 4 things, but with apple juice, not the orange juice. And yeah, just topped it with the granola and some fruit, and then just a drizzle of honey, which just takes it that extra notch. But anyways, I'm sitting here on the floor because I'm in the middle of packing, so I'm supposed to be out of here in 7 days. And I haven't packed a single box yet. I got boxes yesterday. I have been selling things here and there, things that I know that I don't want to keep. And actually I have somebody coming in a little bit to pick up a table. alhamdulillah, is that I work from home, so I can take breaks and try to get things done. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to just at least put together boxes, because I'm thinking that as I'm eating, I'll tape up some boxes just to start getting ready and start packing up these random things that I have all around, which is a bunch of books, because I sold the bookcase that was here a few days ago. So I have all these just books in random corners. And so yes, that's the situation. So I'm just gonna eat and do that, I guess. I'm done eating. I don't know where to put this camera. There's too much going on here, boxes and books. I have my laptop here, just checking emails while I'm going. The other day my laptop charger stopped working, so I went to the Apple store and I told them, and then they gave me this wire and they said you can just replace the wire, basically. You don't have to buy the whole charger. So they gave me this wire, I bought it, I come home and I opened the package and it is so short. Like, I can never be sitting on a table and have it plugged into the wall because it doesn't reach, you know, in comparison to this one that is 5 times as long. So I don't know what to do. I need to figure out getting a longer one, but right now I've been like putting the, when I need to charge the laptop, I put it on the kitchen counter and I plug it into the socket that's like right there next to the kitchen counter, because that's the only way it reaches, or otherwise I leave it on the floor and plug it in. So I put together a couple of boxes and I thought maybe while packing I could answer some questions, because over 3 months ago I posted on Instagram stories to ask me questions that I would answer in a video. I still have those questions and I haven't done the video for that yet. So I'm thinking of just adding in some of those questions here and answering them. So let's go. Okay, the first one. Sister, I need some tips on how to stay focused and motivated and how to manage your time. Time management looks different for everybody. For example, if you're a student and you have responsibilities at home or to your parents and so on, there are some things that you can't really shift and move around, right? You have those responsibilities. Same thing if you're a mom, right? And you have kids, there's going to be times maybe you need to feed them, maybe you need to spend time with them, maybe whatever it is, you can't really move those things. Trial and error, because different things help different people. For example, for me personally, I love a pen and paper and a to-do list, and that helps me so much. If I don't have a pen and paper and to-do list and some sort of structure in my day, things probably will not get done. Like, I see a big difference between days when I have no plan to the day, no structure, and then the days that I do have a plan. And for me personally, the way I like to make a plan is, first of all, have a to-do list of all the things that I need to do, and then have some sort of, like, look at my to-do list and decide, okay, for example, this task is 30 minutes long, I'm gonna try to do it between 10 to 10:30 a.m. for example, or I give an additional buffer, like I think I can do it in 30 minutes, but just to be safe I'll give myself an hour, so I'll say 10 to 11 a.m. and if I finish early, it makes me happy because I finished early and I feel like, wow, I'm ahead, you know, and it kind of, that motivates me that I got something done and I got it done early. I kind of tricked myself that I got it done early, but I have convinced myself that I've got it done early. It motivates me. I feel like either I earned myself a little break until the next task or until 11 or whatever time I have allotted, or I can get other things done ahead of time and keep finishing my task list early. So that's something that personally works for me. I don't like to have things digital, like on the phone or on the laptop or something, because personally, for me, it's a distraction. If I have a phone and then I'm trying to use it to manage my time and look at a to-do list, for example, and I get a notification, it's a distraction. Same thing with the laptop. I'll be inclined to change tabs and go check emails or check other things or do other things, and I'll kind of get shattered. That's me personally. Again, it really depends on you. A lot of people prefer digital versions of different lists and time management things. So that's pretty much what I'll say. I'll say it's really trial and error for what works best for you, because we have different personalities and different things that work best for us. How do I balance both studying about my deen and in Western education. Okay, this is another good one. Easy for us to get so busy with our school education and all the assignments and quizzes and different things. And we feel the pressure of that because there are deadlines, right? I would say that, you know, either try to create a routine for yourself, like a morning routine or an evening routine or something in the weekend, like a weekend routine, like a day or half a day in the weekend, that's your kind of time to be focused on your deen. Even if it's just once a week makes a huge difference. When I was in school, I was doing the tafsir sessions once a week. It's not like I had ample time to be doing these sessions, right? I'm super busy. But because I had a deadline and knew that, okay, once a week we are meeting for this tafsir session, I need to prepare for it and be able to talk in it and present in it and whatever it is, that means I have to do it. And so I felt the pressure of having to do it, and therefore I got it done. If I didn't have that pressure or that deadline of we are meeting at this time this week, I wouldn't have felt the pressure to get it done, and I would have also told myself I don't have time. I think when we give ourselves basically like deadlines or a committed time, we are more likely to do that thing, right? So I would say make a plan for it, you know? The same way you have a plan for your schooling education, like, you know, 8 to 9 you're going to this class, 11 to 12 you're going to this class, after hours you're working on this homework, like you will make time for those things, right? So the same way, try to give yourself a slot or something that is your dedicated deen time. And even better if you can find other people to do it with, and that will kind of keep you motivated and encouraged, and inshallah keep it consistent and make you feel more committed to it. I hope that helps. That's just what comes to mind right now. Okay, what makes you always want to study? Like, what's the motivation? I don't always want to study. I definitely don't always want to study. I'm not in school anymore now, alhamdulillah. I'm done with that journey. I need to figure out how to talk and how to be doing something at the same time. Hang on a second. Okay, and there's a couple of things that help me stay motivated in school. Basically, I tried to convince myself always that school was fun, even though a lot of the times there were topics and subjects that were not really interesting, were difficult, you know, was a struggle. Like, I didn't want to be studying that thing at that moment or doing that assignment at that moment. But what I did was try to find fun ways to incorporate into my assignments. And for me personally, that was getting really nice pens, nice notebooks, colored pens, and just making it a form of art, I guess you could say. So like taking my time and writing in this beautiful handwriting and putting nice boxes with like a nice straight ruler, a colored box around equations, putting a little shape like a cloud around my final answer if I'm solving like a math problem or something, and just kind of like adding in my own personal touch to school. The ways that I learned this is I had a friend back in like primary and high school. I saw her like this. She had like a whole pencil case with all these different colored pens, and the way she would write and underline things and circle things and do things, like her work looked so beautiful, and I was like, wow, this is your like work can look this beautiful, like this is really nice. And I started borrowing pens from her in class and using her pens, and I'm like, wow, these pens like write really nicely. And I started to realize that, hey, if I had like a nice pen, nice notebook, if I wrote nicely, if I spent time like making it like an art, it's actually a lot more enjoyable to study and to work and to do assignments. So that's one thing that I did. And the same thing when it came to like, if I had to write a paper or do a presentation or I don't know what, I took my time enjoying the design process of it, like designing the presentations or creating the images and the diagrams and things, if it was like a technical thing, and just enjoying those parts of it. Okay, the memory card got full. It's time for a coffee break. I'm so impressed by this coffee. I have this new coffee machine, and I've been trying to learn how to do latte art because I've just never been able to. But I'm slowly learning, and this is actually the best one I've ever done. If you have any tips, let me know. But yeah, this is so far the best outcome. So I'm gonna enjoy this and probably answer some more questions. Alhamdulillah. Next question. How much time did it take to complete the PhD? It took a long time. When I first entered the program, I was told that you can get out in 4 years because I had a master's already. So they're like, you can get out as early as 4 years, Yeah, that didn't happen. Not even close. It took me how many years? 6.5 years. That's so long. There were moments during it where it felt super long and it was never ending, but there were also moments in it that it felt like it's passing fast. I think you can relate with other things. Life sometimes feels like it's going so fast, but also at the same time it feels like it's going so slow. Like, when is this going to be over? But yeah, it did take me 6.5 years. Part of it was COVID because COVID happened in my last year and I had to push my final defense. Like, when you defend your PhD, basically, like, you have to present it to your committee and all of that. And yeah, COVID happened in that semester, and then everything got pushed to the next semester. So there was a slight delay because of COVID, but most of the delay was just me. So basically, you can never predict what is going to happen in a PhD program, right? You can never predict, like, what results you're going to get, how smooth the process is going to be, what roadblocks you have along the way, because you're working on something that was never worked on before. So you don't really have anywhere to look to or to turn to, and you have to figure it out yourself. I don't know, you're kind of just figuring it out for yourself. I think one thing that also added to my timeline was I actually started off on a different project with a different advisor, and then I changed maybe a year or a year and a half later or something. Challenge is being able to persist through that, through the roadblocks and those things. So yeah, that's the advice, and that's why it took me a bit longer. But subhanallah, I'm grateful because a lot of good, alhamdulillah, came out of me taking longer in my PhD. There were certain opportunities and things that came up for me that came up in those last 2 years. And so if I had finished in 4 years, if I had finished early, I wouldn't have had those opportunities that I got in the last 2 years. So that's also just a reminder that if things take longer, you never know what doors are opening for you you never know. Go with the flow, inshallah, and just keep working hard, just keep trying, no matter whatever you're going through, whether it's a PhD or something else. Things don't always go according to our plan, and sometimes it's just for the best. Okay, other question. You are an Emirati. Yes, I am. My mom is Venezuelan, and so yeah, I'm half-half, if that explains it, because everyone's always confused, it seems, as to what I am. But yeah. How do you balance your spiritual and worldly needs? I feel like I already kind of answered that. I would really say to try to create a morning slash evening routine for yourself that kind of starts off with deen, ends with deen. You know, you start off your day in a good mindset, you end your day in a good mindset, and then throughout the day, of course, you prioritize your prayer. So you have all these checkpoints in the day. And also, if you have a weekly thing that you do, I really recommend that. One of the best things that I had during my PhD was this tafsir and chai lessons, which now I'm mostly drinking coffee, but in those days it was chai. So nice to have a reset each week. You know, each week I had this thing to kind of remind me that there's more to life than just this dunya and achieving things in this dunya, you know. So try to have something once a week at least to just keep you grounded, you know, a time that you either alone or you find friends or a community to kind of do things together once a week that remind you of Allah. It's so grounding to have that. It kind of reminds you that all your worries and your stresses, all these things that you're chasing in this dunya, they're not as important as we sometimes make them to be, because we're so focused on them. But if you have something that kind of takes your focus away from the dunya, I feel like it kind of helps also in terms of stress relief, because inshallah you're reminded that, you know what, it's not important. It's just not as important as I'm making it be. It'll be fine, inshallah, and I trust Allah. And you just kind of reset. It's like a weekly reset. And yeah. Okay, this will be the last question. How did you manage YouTube and PhD along with following Deen? I did not manage. I think, you know, always if you are looking at someone on the outside, it is easy for it to look like they're managing everything, right? Because you are seeing the parts that they have managed. You're not seeing the parts that they are not managing, right? I mean, I just mentioned my PhD took me 2.5 years longer than I had initially anticipated, right? And then if you look at YouTube, for example, you will see months where there's no videos, there's no posts from me, that I was not managing YouTube. If you look at Deen, of course, like we all fluctuate and things, right? There's gonna be days where I don't have time to do anything, I mean, other than pray, but I mean, like, do anything extra, you know. And then there's going to be times where I'm doing more. At the end of the day, I do my best. I try my best. There's gonna be days where I don't feel like doing anything. There's gonna be days that I'm not managing anything. There's gonna be days that things are falling apart, you know. It's not all like perfect and well managed. And it's hard to know when someone is not managing things, because of course in those moments you're not seeing them, right? You're not gonna, like, how would you know that they're not how would you know that they're not managing things, right? So anyways, I'm just saying that as a reminder, because like maybe if you look at me or anybody else, you're like, oh, she has this manage and she's doing this or she's doing that, and it's like, no, there are days that are not productive. There are days that, you know, things are just not managed, basically. I don't know what better phrasing to use, but yeah, it's just a reminder, like, you know, just be kind to yourself, because just be kind to yourself and remind yourself also, like, the things that you see from others, you're probably seeing them in their best selves, you know. You're not seeing like the worst parts of them, because those parts are usually private, you know. So don't bring yourself down seeing what others are achieving, you know. And at the same time, other people might be looking at you and saying, wow, mashallah, she's managing all this stuff, you know. We need to just like be kinder to ourselves and each other, and recognize that, you know, nobody has their lives perfectly put together. Nobody's living a perfect life, and this dunya is not meant to be perfect. We're gonna have tests, we're gonna have roadblocks, we're gonna have things come up. Sorry, my voice, my throat is croaky. Yeah, and just, you know, take it day by day. Be easy on yourself, be kind on yourself, and try to do small things. Like if you feel like you're not doing anything today, just find something. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have big grand days of achievements, right? The smallest things add up. So just small things. It doesn't have to be anything big. And yeah, let's just be kinder to ourselves, inshallah. And I think with that, I'm gonna end here because this has gotten really long. I'm gonna enjoy my coffee and I have to get to work and get to doing all kinds of other things. So I'm gonna close out here. Let me know if you enjoyed this style of, I don't know, chit chat, Q&A, whatever you call it. It's a little after 5 p.m. Just finished work and I thought, let's make some tiramisu. I'm trying to go through as many ingredients as I can in the fridge slash pantry to have less stuff to move with. I'm gonna make this tiramisu because I have this heavy cream that expired yesterday, so it should still be okay today, but I want to use it. So it's pretty straightforward. It is basically heavy cream, mascarpone, the lady fingers, of course, some cocoa powder, and then the recipe calls for sugar, but I'm doing monk fruit sweetener instead, and then some coffee. That's the best part of it. There's this fly buzzing around, so if you see it, it's flying around the camera. Anyways, let's get started. First step is 1 cup of heavy cream. Grabbing this hand whisk and going to whisk it until it's medium to stiff peaks. Okay, I think that's good, but wow, what a mess I made. Can you see all the splatter? I don't know if you can tell all the splatter on everything. So I'm just gonna try to clean that up real quick. The next thing is 1 cup of mascarpone, which is about 250 grams. This thing is 227, but that's fine. And then with a 1/4 cup of sugar. And I'm just going to use the monk fruit instead of sugar. Okay, so I'm just gonna spoon out the whole thing with a 1/4 cup of monk fruit. Let's just mix it up. And then it says to fold in the whipped cream into this, but I don't think there's enough space in this because I need to whisk it again. It's gonna fly everywhere in this small bowl. So I'm just gonna pour this basically into this. And if you are adding vanilla, you would add vanilla in this step, but I'm not adding vanilla. So time to whisk again. Hopefully it's not as messy. I'm just going to put the coffee in this. I found this container which is a little bit bigger than the size of a lady finger, so it's the perfect thing to dip it in. And then here is this mixture, which is nice and smooth right now. And then I have this container, which I'm going to put the final product in. So it's time to now dip and layer this lady finger. Pull it out and layer, and you have to go quick or else it becomes soggy and it breaks apart in the coffee. Finish my first layer, and now I'm going to take half of this mixture and just layer it over this first layer. So that's just a rough measure. I think that's about half. And I'm just going to spread that out evenly. So same thing. I have a piece missing in the corner, but that's okay. So I'm gonna do the second layer, and I'm just basically going to finish this all off. The final part is to make it pretty, and that's where the cocoa powder comes in. So just dusting the top with cocoa powder. I'm just going to use this sieve to be able to like dust a little bit. So I'm gonna pour some cocoa powder here. And then just basically slight tap and shake. That's it. This is all set to go in the fridge and get cool and solidify a little bit more, and that's it. And then you're ready to dig in. So it's a pretty easy, simple dessert to make. And if you enjoy coffee, then you'll probably enjoy this. Okay, that's it for this vlog. Battery is about to shut, so hope you enjoyed, and inshallah I'll see you next time. Aren't these sunflowers behind so beautiful? They make me so happy to see them every day. Anyways, inshallah, take care, and As-salamu Aleikum.